I'm saying correct.
Ili asituletee fujo kwa mkutano hapa.
Hoya guys, Raila Amolo Odinga ameunda ugomvi kati yake na member of parliaments. You see guys, Raila Odinga amefungia majamaa njia. And Raila Odinga saizi hawezi simama mbele ya member of parliaments akazungumza, akasikizwa. Wamejam. They are now blaming Raila Amolo Odinga for educating President William Samoei Arap Ruto kwamba atoanishe hii mambo ya CDF. You see guys, hii mambo ya CDF ilikuwa inasaidia zaidi. Classes zilikuwa zinajengwa. Bursaries zilikuwa zinapeanwa kwa wanafunzi. Mambo mingi yalikuwa pale ndani wakati ambapo hawa member of parliaments wana hold hizi do. So now Raila Odinga ameamua kwamba governors wa control hizi do. Unaona watu wangu? So governors wakicontrol hizi do kumaanisha yule member of parliament ambaye ako na ugomvi na huyu governor atakuwa anafinyiliwa. Kumaanisha yule member of parliament ambaye ako na ugomvi na huyu governor hatakuwa ana access, hatakuwa na nafasi nzuri ya kwa access huyu governor ili ampatie funds afanye miradi. Unaona watu wangu, watakuwa wanasumbuana. So hiyo ndio shida Raila Odinga ameingiza pale ndani. Na kwa hii video you're going to be shocked. You see guys, hii mzozano ilianzia pale Karen wakati ambapo Raila Odinga alikuwa na address in front of the president. Then wakaamua kujam heckling Raila Amolo Odinga. Sikia.
Constituency is not an element of devolution. Devolution remains at the county. Down there at the constituency, the county government does implementation of the projects. I'm saying correct. Yes. Down at the constituency, it's the county government. By the national government is supposed to do national projects, and we go down there, and there are functions which are clearly been assigned.
Kumaanisha hao majamaa wamejam na Raila Amolo Odinga amekuja kuwafungia place wao wanakulia. And that's why unaona William Ruto pia alichukua ile jukumu ya kufanya nini? Attacking member of parliaments. Na unablame Raila Amolo Odinga. Kwa nini Raila Odinga ameingia pale mambo yameanza kuharibika? Unaona guys? So now moments ambazo William Ruto ameamua confronting member of parliaments. Na ndo William Ruto kumbe hajafichua ukweli. Ni nini inaendelea pale kwa wabunge? Unaona watu wangu? Close ally wa Rigathi Gachagua amekuwa TV47 telling Kenyans about everything, about Ruto's secrets, about President William Samoei Arap Ruto's secrets. Venye anabraibu wale watu pale ndani. So kumechemuka, ensure umelike video na nasema thanks for your great support. Nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu zaidi.
So angry because first of all, thank you for having me here.
Karibu sana.
The anger is because it's betrayal. The executive on one hand wants to say the National Assembly is corrupt, but the pipe through which probably corruption is coming through is the executive. The president mentions that certain laws to go through, there must be money that is given to members of parliament. But who gives them? It is the executive. Actually, it's only that the president did not give the full story. Probably he gave the part that suits him and the part that would want to sanitize him as president. The truth of the matter is, when Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, we said there was bribery. But the president did not come out because he was the one actualizing the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Continuously, a number of issues within parliament that the president has interest in, he calls members of parliament to the State House. He rewards them. That is corruption. He calls them for parliamentary group meeting just before a vote. And you see, the problem that we have with the president is that why doesn't he call himself out? Why doesn't he give the full story? Because there's no full disclosure. Number two, why didn't he mention the names of the people he believes are corrupt, if this is a genuine? Because the rule of the thumb is, if you allege, You prove.
Okay.
I heard him say they will arrest. This is the same president when the DIG is caught up in a situation where he has called for the arrest of Albert Ojwang. Kenyans say, arrest this individual. He says, we don't have arresting powers. I am not in charge of the police. This is the same president saying, arrest members of parliament. So he has the powers to arrest members of parliament at some point. He does not have the power to arrest members of parliament at some point. This is a classical example of a hypocrite.
But listening to you, Bonangogoyo, and I was looking probably for a point where you would deny the existence of corruption in parliament. Are you accepting that, yes, indeed?
Yes, there is corruption in parliament.
Yes.
The president himself is one of the people we suspect bribes members of parliament. For instance, during the impeachment, there was money that went around parliament, and it was the president himself, not his agencies, the president himself. He coerced members. He induced them. He promised them projects in the name of once you remove Rigathi Gachagua, this is what will happen. There was money that went through. So it is not that there is no corruption in parliament, but the one alleging that there is corruption is actually one of the people that are suspected to be piping in money for different reasons or the other. And then number two, you see, parliament oversights the executive. It so happens that we also make laws, the judiciary will depend on parliament. The executive, 100% comes for oversight. And he said, when his CSS, his PSS come for oversight, it is at that point that they are asked for money. Meaning, they give out money. That is how the president has come to know. What he calls in his, the consumer of raw intelligence. Does his intelligence have to go to the PG? Okay. Why didn't he report to the DCI? Because I had them tell Rigathi Gachagua, what you are saying about Al-Shabaab, report to the DCI. So what standard does the president not have that he could also report to the DCI?
And most of these are just allegations, but have you, in your tenure as a member of parliament for Kajiado North, witnessed bribery happening within the Houses of Parliament?
During the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, President William Ruto bribed members of parliament.
How did you come to know about that?
Because I realized they would live in groups to the State House, live in groups to the State House. They would come back with a different opinion. Some who are saying they will not get into the muddy waters of an impeachment that they don't know where it came from. They would come change their mind. I also have friends in the State House. In parliament. So even my friend from Kacheliba had told me he will not impeach Rigathi Gachagua. What happened in between, I don't know.
Okay. The MP of Kacheliba, now that you've mentioned him, is here. Titus Lote, karibu sana.
Thank you, Fred, and good morning.
Good morning. Today, all the dailies are talking about the kind of anger that you and your colleagues have exhibited since the pronouncements made by the president on alleged corruption within the Houses of Parliament. And the question this morning is, why are MPs angry? If at all indeed the corruption does exist within the Houses of Parliament, it should be the MPs seeking that this should come out and be counted in a way as representatives of the people. Why this anger? I'm informed, and the papers have quoted the fact that you even boycotted a parliamentary session yesterday to discuss some very serious government proposals.
Well, thank you, Fred, and good morning. Good morning, Bonangogoyo. Well, in passing, you mentioned me, but I think before I even go into that, let me just say it is palpable yesterday to know that the members of parliament were very angry because of the assertion by the president that parliament in totality is corrupt. Well, I will actually say the anger arose from the fact that parliament is getting up to a shock and a shocking revelation from the president. Personally, I have not had any claim of corruption in parliament. I have not had any bribes. I have not had to intimidate any state officer to get a bribe so that anything can go through. But I think sitting at the level of the president, he must be knowing more than we know about what is happening. But the only unfortunate thing that I had from the president, and I think that is what raised the anger, was it does not cover everybody. It is not corruption for everybody, probably the few that are there. And the reason why yesterday, if you actually follow the proceeding of parliament, parliamentarians were clear and said if the president was clear to his word, and the president said that there are members that are going to be arrested, let those members be purged out of parliament so that parliament cannot wholly be or blanketly be accused. And the reason why...
And that statement by the president was very clear, that those people whom he accuses will not just be shamed, but arrested. Why then, therefore, is this anger generally from members of parliament as a group?
Because the statement was, and I think the president meant very well, that parliament is. And when we say that, for example, we say Kenya is corrupt, it doesn't mean that everybody in Kenya is corrupt. Or when we say that Africa is poor, it doesn't mean that everybody in Africa is poor. The reason why we are actually angry is because the statement was blanket, and you find when you go out to the constituency or the members of the society, all of us are actually considered corrupt, and yet we are not. And the reason why we're saying, President, please, instead of probably even saying that every parliamentarian is corrupt, can you fish this out? Can you let the public know? Actually, yesterday we actually said it. Can the president mention these people? Can these people get out of parliament and go through the process of law so that the whole entire parliament is not accused of a crime that is not parliamentary?
Mm-hmm. All right. So what next, Bwana Ngogoyo? Because now I can see there's a lot of anger, and houses of parliament have even threatened not to exercise their powers of budget cuts to hit back at the executive. What happens next? Is this the way to go?
Allow me to conclude on one issue, and I will agree with the Honorable Lute. The institution is not corrupt, it is individuals within the institution. Mm-hmm. So you cannot say parliament is corrupt. You should say within parliament there is 1, 2, 3 that I suspect, that I can name, that are corrupt. That is the prudent thing to do. Likewise, when we say, for instance, there are issues in government, we raise the specific issues. There is siphoning of money in the e-citizen, and we mention where it is. It is going to this company. That is the right way to do things, because if you allege anything, prove, single out, let it be known who's committing the crime. Number 2, the president is a hypocrite. Number 1, he's the party leader of the UDA party. He has a disciplinary committee within his party. Majority of the members of parliament in all committees come from his political party. What has he done as the party leader for UDA? Because I would expect, if your members are practicing corruption within parliament, and here you are the consumer of raw intelligence, he should withdraw them from committees. It has happened before. Ababu Namwamba was withdrawn from the Public Accounts Committee by his political party. Kagongo Bowen in the last parliament was withdrawn by his party from a committee. If the president is genuine, he has a disciplinary committee within his political party. So what he should have done first, instead of the hypocrisy of mentioning members of parliament in general, he should have singled out members, even if it is that Public Accounts Committee which he mentioned, that there is a committee.
Isn't this, therefore, an opportunity for Parliament to introspect and take a look at what is happening instead of just projecting anger and disapproval at some of the pronouncements by the President?
But also, the consumer of raw intelligence must behave more professional and more practical than the talking. Remember, this is somebody who's accused of more of talking than performing.
All right.
In his many other engagements. And I want to say that the issue of the political party that has the majority in all committees is the UDA party. Then he should also say, well, that members of his political party are corrupt.
All right.
That is something he should come out very clear. Because Lotte belongs to a political party, not UDA. Mm-hmm. But his political party has the majority in all committees. So it is UDA that plays the biggest role in all committees of parliament.
All right.
And even in the leadership, he should also mention that Kimani Ichung'wah and probably Osoro are not able to handle members of parliament because the members of parliament are too corrupt.
Are you saying that the president is not genuine?
He's not genuine at all.
Banak, Lotte, do you agree that the president is not genuine, genuinely trying to fight corruption? We've seen him form even a multi-agency team to pursue the same. But according to Bwana Ngogoyo, this is purely political and nothing to do with fighting corruption.
Well, I think I will disagree with Ngogoyo on that fact. The president is genuine. Genuine on the fact that he could mention that there is corruption. Because actually we've seen many head of states, including the former head of state, Uhuru Kenyatta, saying that there is corruption, that we lose 2 billion shillings every day, and he had nothing to do with it. But here, the president is actually facing it and telling Kenyans that parliament is corrupt. The only thing I disagree with the president is when he actually blanketly say parliament is corrupt. We want the president to fish out the corrupt people within parliament so that parliament can be sanitized. So it is genuine to say that there is corruption. That admission by itself shows a sense of genuineness of the president. The second thing is we've actually seen him forming a multi-agency team to be able to fight corruption. This is an initiative that I think is going to work. Because, Fred, like I tell you, when we create all these agencies, the DCI, the ESCC, the NCIC, all these agencies, when they work in silos, basically we cannot fight corruption. Because, Fred, we know these are other avenues of corruption. If, for example, and it is not a fallacy for me to say, that an ESCC person has actually realized that there's a corrupt person, what they always do, instead of actually taking up these cases, is they open up a shop of making money from the corrupt person. And they say, we found you culpable of 20,000 or 20 million or whatever millions. Please, can you give us something so that we can kill this case? And because of that, we've actually not seen ESCC having the teeth. We've seen DCI not having the teeth. We've seen all these institutions that the president is putting together working differently, not having the teeth, because within those institutions, there are corrupt individuals. Actually, this is an endemic corrupt country in many ways. So that the policeman on the road, instead of actually giving you a ticket for violating a traffic offense, the policeman will ask for something and let you go free. And that is what is happening in every of our institutions. So the president thinks probably that putting these people together, these people now can be able to be countering and checking each other and be able to advance the corrupt cases to court. Okay. It is serious in this country that, Fred, we know, the people know who is a corrupt governor, who is a corrupt MP, who is a corrupt police officer, who is a corrupt judge. People know, but the institution, I've said it, a corrupt member of parliament, but I'll tell you, these people don't ever find themselves in court. They don't ever find themselves in jail until when it is political. Why? Because the institutions are failed and the institutions become a den of corruption. Look at the Senate, for example. The president mentioned it and said that governors, when they come to the Senate, they actually buy their way out. Ni soko huru, somebody said it. It basically means even that is another den of corruption. So instead of us following the law to the letter, we actually let money interferes with the processes. So I think the president is genuine. The president has mentioned it out, albeit the fact that he is blanketed everybody, and the president is actually made a move that has never been made by anybody else to ensure that corruption is being fought by a multi-agency.
Guys, nilikwambia kwamba lazima nikupangie jinsi ambavyo mambo yanachemuka hapa nchini Kenya. So now, William Ruto will be a one-term president. Kumbuka, William Ruto alikuwa ameplan Rigathi Gachagua kitua kesho hapa nchini Kenya, ashukie Kisumu ama Mombasa, lakini sio Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Because ametoka kaelekea Japan, akaachia Raila Amolo Odinga ushukani. Pia pambane na Rigathi Gachagua. Unakumbuka ile wakati Rigathi Gachagua akiwa deputy president, William Ruto akielekea upande wa United States of America, Rigathi Gachagua alipewa mamlaka. Alikuwa anaamka usiku. Naona watu wangu. Alikuwa anaamka usiku akifanya meeting na police officers ili mambo ya maandamano ya Raila Amolo Odinga iweze kufanya nini? Iweze kurudi chini. So now William Ruto pia ameachia Raila Amolo Odinga. And now DCP party leaders wanna issue a stern warning.
Thank you, Honorable John Methu. First, I want to welcome you to this press conference. We are here gathered as members of the Democratic for the Citizens Party. We have leaders from across the country, and we'd like to issue the statement as follows. We, the DCP, we wish to address ourselves to the nation of Kenya and the patriotic citizens of our beloved country as follows. Last week, we announced that our party leader, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, will return to the nation on Thursday, 21st August at noon from the United States of America. We want to confirm that his return is still as scheduled. Second, we call on the people of Kenya to show up at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at 8 a.m. to receive our beloved party leader. We shall have a mother of all peaceful processions upon his arrival. The procession will begin from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to the Central Business District and later address a public rally at the hallowed Kamkunji grounds. The police are hereby notified to provide security, and they should not dare to demonstrate against the people of Kenya. We have done a letter to the Inspector General notifying him of the said activity. We confirm that indeed we will, and as a party and as the people of Kenya, we shall gather at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport starting from 8 a.m. This is to ensure that we plan ourselves adequately. We have people traveling from across the country, all the way from Teso land, from Luo land, and therefore we want to have good organization and protocol at the airport. So we want to ask all our supporters traveling from across the country to be at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as from 8 a.m. We are also adequately informed of the mischief and also plans by President William Ruto to have our party leader arrested upon his arrival at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. We are also informed that William Ruto is planning to divert his plane to either Kisumu or Mombasa International Airports to arrest him from there. We have encouraged our members to also plan to receive him in those respective airports. We want to be very particular and candid on this matter. Take notice that any attempt to arrest Honorable His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, once he lands in the country, will be met by our supporters across the country. We have asked our supporters to be on standby. We remember when His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, he implored upon his supporters to remain calm and resort to singing. This time round, the song will be of a different rhythm. Secondly, we have had President William Ruto and his choir dream that he has been invited by President Trump to the United States of America. Mr. Ruto, on your address to the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, under the theme, Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development, and human rights, President Ruto, what are you going to address the UNGA looking at this year's theme and the UN principles? Is it about extrajudicial killings, abductions, forced disappearances, rapid support forces of Sudan, corruption, illegal gold trade, or illegal detentions? Or on this matter, we, the Democratic Party, Citizens Party of Kenya, wishes to bring to the attention of the global community and the United Nations General Assembly that the President of Kenya has consistently violated the very principles upon which the UN was founded. That is human rights, dignity, and peace. Under his watch, Kenya has witnessed brutal suspension of peaceful demonstrations. Young Kenyans exercising their constitutional rights to protest have been met with live bullets, unlawful detentions, and state-sponsored abductions. Systematic violation of freedom of expression. Journalists, whistleblowers, and activists continue to be harassed and silenced. Failure to protect human life. Innocent citizens have died at the hands of security forces with no accountability from the Kenyan government. The UN Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the multiple treaties Kenya is a signatory to all demand protection of fundamental freedoms. Yet, the President of Kenya seeks to parade himself as a statesman before the international community, while his regime is guilty of bloodshed at home. We therefore join the young people of Kenya in petitioning the United Nations not to grant Mr. William Ruto the honor of addressing the upcoming convention. Doing so would amount to legitimizing dictatorship, tyranny, and betraying the young, the women, and the people of Kenya, whose only crime was demanding their rights, justice, and accountability. We therefore call upon the UN General Assembly to review his eligibility to speak on matters peace and human rights. We strongly call on the United States of America as the host country to consider declaring him persona non grata in line with international practices on leaders who trample human rights. We demand that the global civil society and partner nations join in boycotting and condemning any platform extended to Mr. William Samoei Ruto. The United Nations must stand with the people of Kenya, not oppressors. History will judge harshly any institution that enables authoritarianism to thrive under the guise of diplomacy. End of statement.